right. Can you give me 1 second? They just put this in front of me. I hadn't even seen it yet. Overall, frustrating day. Very frustrating day. I give Coach Johnson and Houston an awful lot of credit. They did the things they had to do to win the football game, and I give them an awful lot of credit. It stinks to lose. Nobody likes to lose. But we certainly had opportunities today if we could have capitalized on them. It seemed like we were really slow starting. We had the very first series, we dropped 2 passes, have to punt. We get a 3rd and 1, and we don't block the front side linebacker who blitzes through the B gap. And on plays that are, how many times do you think we've run that play on 3rd and 1? You know what I mean? A million times. I wish I could put it all together, but we certainly made our share of mistakes today. It was definitely a frustrating day in a lot of respects. But I certainly give Houston an awful lot of credit for what they were able to do and come in here and win the football game. So as I told the team, hopefully we can look at some of these things. We can clean some things up. We can correct some mistakes. We can be a little bit more efficient as a football team. But we got to look at hard at some things. But I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the way they continued to compete, proud of the way they fought back. And they never gave up. And I'm proud of them for that. That's part of the frustration. Penalties were 10-0. I think the crowd was frustrated. I mean, it was frustrating. It was hard. We couldn't get anything going. It seemed like every time we did, we got a penalty. You know what I mean? I haven't seen the film. I can't sit down and say this wasn't. You know what I mean? The worst seat in the house is sitting on the sideline. So it's very hard for me to sit here and comment about any play or penalty. That part was very frustrating because I really, until I have the opportunity to see it or get a better view, maybe one of the ones that the official had, it's very hard for me to comment on any of the officials, but it was frustrating. That was part of the frustration, not playing well. Every time it seemed like we made a play, we'd go 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Then you were at 1st and 20. Thought you were going to start to get something going, and we just could never get in a rhythm.
It's what it seems like, but I think it didn't have to be like that. I think we shot ourselves in the foot way earlier than that to put ourselves in a situation. I think, I did that on 3rd down, I think a couple times where I could have made a better play, made a better read, done something to help, and I didn't do that. And it didn't have to be that. It didn't have to get to that point.
Just keep playing. You know what I mean? It's not over. Even the drive at the end of the game, even the drive to take it down, when they scored, it was like, look, if we can go down and score in a hurry, go for it on 4th down, we're still going to have a shot to throw the ball in the end zone. Anything can happen. And you know what? That's why I said I'm proud of them. They kept competing. They did keep competing. And it's frustrating for everybody. Like I said, it's frustrating for the fans, the players, everybody. You know what I mean? That was there. But it's something that we got to keep playing. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of the way that they did that and the way they kept competing. And, all of a sudden it's 1st and 20. You know what? Well, you could throw your arms up and you could flinch, or you could say, hey, you know what? We got this. Let's go. You know what I mean? Call a couple plays, see if we can make a couple 1st downs. And we overcame some of them and others we couldn't, but it was a frustrating day.
You had a call at the end of the game there that's very unique to the USFL where, again, normally would be an onside kick. You had the chance to 4th and 12. With 10 seconds on the clock, was there a lot of thought between the two, or did you want to go on offense from the start?
No, I wanted to go on offense, and really what I was trying to do is I was trying to get the ball down the field farther. I was trying to gain more than 12, you know what I mean, is what I was trying to do. You kick an onside kick. We kick off from the 20-yard line. So we'd onside kick it to the 30, You know, I mean, we're still 70 yards away. At least we got an untimed down where we could get the ball to midfield. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And now we have a shot because it's an untimed down. So now we've got a shot. If we can get the ball to midfield, then you could throw the ball out of bounds and get to the 30 and then throw something in the end zone. I mean, that was my thought rather than just kick an onside kick. Ball gets tipped, rolls around, whatever it may be, and then we're still 70 yards away. So, yeah, I like the rule. I think it creates definitely some excitement with everything. I wish I would have called a different play. I'm not very pleased with the play that I called. But that was my mindset and that was my thought.
And the fumble into the end zone, which, again, in most situations
Yeah.
would be a touchback. That's probably a rule you don't like as much.
I didn't like it today. No, I know it was just passed this year. You know, it's kind of the type of year that it's been with all the injuries and with, you know what I mean, with everything. It's just, I said, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. You know, this year we were just on the receiving side of it, unfortunately. But, you know, I thought it certainly should have been ruled a touchback today. But normally I think it's a really good rule. But today I definitely thought it should have been a touchback. I'm hopeful. You know, some of these injuries were supposed to be, 2 to 4 weeks, and here we are at 5. You know, I mean, so I'm hopeful. A couple of them. I'm hoping a JoJo Tillery. I'm hoping Joe Jackson. I'm hoping that we could get a couple of these guys back. Unfortunately, 4, 5 of them I think are probably pretty close to season-ending IR type injuries. But there's a couple guys, and this is, as we've talked as a football team, we have talent on this team. We just got to get on the same page. There was twice today where we called a route and he throws one and the receiver runs another. You know what I mean? There's a couple of those, but you've got a lot of new faces. You got Petway out there who had a big catch for us, very talented player. But some of those guys, we had a starting left guard's been here 2 weeks. I mean, it's tough. You know what I mean? I wish I could say, I hope we get some of those back. I hope we keep developing. I hope we keep growing as a football team. I like the talent on our team. We just got to get more consistent, and we got to do a better job as coaches.
We have a question online from Ace. Ace, you want to unmute and you can ask your question? While Ace is doing that, we can move on to Oscar. Oscar, you want to unmute and ask your question?
Thanks so much, Coach. I know it's a hard time because the score in this game, but I saw the sticker in the helmet of the players. Could you send a message to all the moms, to all the mothers in the United States and in Mexico and Latin America? Thanks so much. Gracias.
Well, Oscar, gracias to you. Thank you very much for your call, your conversation, really putting this day in perspective. This is a football game. If our happiness only falls because of a win or a loss, that's how incredibly blessed we all are. And I know for me, I lost my mother 3 years ago. Still a very sensitive topic for me with the relationship that we have with her. I know my wife is a mother, and I know to all the mothers out there, you know what? I mean, we wouldn't be here without you. But we can't thank you enough for the sacrifices that you've made in your lifetime. And I'm talking to my mother as well as my wife and the sacrifices she's made for our children, as everybody can. This is a special day, a special weekend for them. And so to all the mothers in the United States and Mexico, we love you. We appreciate you. We don't tell you enough. I think every day ought to be Mother's Day. But we are incredibly blessed to be given the gifts that we have been. And it's certainly a great weekend to have the opportunity to say thank you to all the mothers for the sacrifices they've made to give us the opportunity to be who we are. Thank you, Oscar.
Ace, we're going to try one more time with you. Ace, we'll try one more time with you to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Ace with the USFL Network. My question is for Alex Magoo. Alex, midway through the game, you were interviewed and you talked about the injuries to your ribs and your breathing. First off, I would like to commend you for playing through that and ask, what were you telling yourself, and what was your mindset to be able to get through the game with those injuries?
Well, they're not. It's not a serious thing. It's just when I started to run as much as I did on that drive, the deep breaths would hurt. Like I can sit here and talk to you just fine. Like it's not. I can turn. My ribs are fine. But it's just when I have to fully breathe is when it kind of prevents it. But yeah, they're all right.
Coach Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar, for your question. Appreciate you acknowledging the mothers. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.